For those of you who haven't joined us in the last few weeks, I guess is this our fourth official back, Amy, tonight, or fifth?
Fourth.
Fourth, right? So fantastic. It feels great to be not only back in our space because we've been back for months, but just the energy last week was palpable. It was fantastic. It was a beautiful day, which helped. The Guild had just set up their pop-up brewery in the park, and there were tons of people there, and there was music and food trucks, and Dune Brothers was happening. So we hope, if you can't join us tonight, super interesting conversation. I think it might be a little scary for some people, and it's not meant to be. Many of us have heard about NFTs and are a little confused by them. And this conversation is meant to demystify the mysterious NFT conversation. And our own Jordan Elster has traveled way down the rabbit hole with this. And he's going to give us an awesome overview. And I think there'll be people at different levels in the conversation, I'm hoping. I've been following Gary Vaynerchuk talking about it for a while, and super interested to see what Jordan's come up with, because we've been pretty busy as a team and I haven't had a chance to see what he's going to talk about. I don't know if you have, Amy. Yeah, you probably know. It's a surprise. It's a mystery to us too. So we're excited. We hope you'll join us. And if you haven't been in our space, because we are getting busier, we hope you'll come work out of our free public lounges on the first or second floor. Grab a private meeting room if you need that. They're super affordable, and book an event, because we're excited to have events back. Look, between Amy and I, we're making it happen. We're manifesting large groups, and both CIC Providence and us at District Hall are super excited to say we've brought our chairs back, and we've moved our furniture back around, and it feels like, we're back fully.
And people are booking rooms especially for those of us who work from home with small children. So if you need to take an interview or record a podcast, we're seeing a lot of people book rooms for just themselves, which I think is great, because I love quiet space too sometimes.
Awesome. So since I was just going on excitedly about our space at 0.225 or 225 Dyer, I see Colleen. I actually don't have the grid up, so I'm going to change it to gallery. Oh, and Rebecca's here too. Hi. So yeah, it's happening, right? CIC Providence.
It is, yeah. Like you mentioned, chairs are back, kitchen furniture is back. As of Tuesday, we updated our space policy to match the CDC guidelines, so masks are no longer required for fully vaccinated people, which feels like a really positive step. And yeah, there's definitely a lot going on, like you mentioned. Our new building partners on the first floor opening soon, Bayberry. I know we're all excited about that. I've been looking forward to it for quite a while. And yeah, just lots of excitement in the building for sure.
I was excited to get the friends and family soft opening invite. Are you guys going to?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fun night Tuesday.
It is. Yeah, definitely.
I was jealous, Rebecca, that you got to taste some of their new menu items. So I was super excited to get that invitation.
Did I have crumbs all over me, Tuni? I'm sure.
No, not all. Although you are talking about food a lot in our CIC newsletter. I liked your summary of the trail mix snack.
Thank you so much. I hope that that's another way that our clients start finding their way around the building, so that they experience the different snacks on the different floors, and it helps them not just navigate the space, but interact with different client communities on each floor.
But it's all about having those awesome collisions. I love giving tours, and I always end up seeing people, especially in the third floor kitchen. I mean, there's a lot of activity happening there. That's fun. And I see one of our neighbors here, Liz or Elizabeth, depending on, do you prefer Liz or Elizabeth?
You can call me Liz. My grandma called me Elizabeth, so she's the only one that called me Elizabeth.
That's what I thought, but then I didn't want to be, but you do have it in your Hollywood Square, so I guess it's official. We can call you Liz. What's going on at the Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship at Brown University?
Yes, well, hearing all this talk about in-person events is getting me a little jealous. We're still a little virtual over here, so I help run our 8-week accelerator program called Breakthrough Lab, or B Lab. And so it's virtual again, so I'm getting a little FOMO hearing all the events you're doing, and it's funny to hear how food is such a great connector. We even for older adults, our students are driven by kebab and curry orders. So I can't wait to return to the fall, to our in-person events. We still actually don't know what Brown's policy will be, so we're waiting. But we usually have a really big event in September. It'll be September 30th this year, and it's our annual showcase of all the ventures. So we're not sure if it's virtual or in person. So stay tuned.
We'd love to, please encourage your students to come to our in-person events and to work out of our free public lounges too. There's often CIC members are in and out of there and all kinds of interesting people. So we'd love to have more of your founders, your entrepreneurs, your students.
Totally. I will do that because I follow you guys on Instagram, and I saw some current students in alumni Pangea and Intiscare roaming around the building looking like they're having a blast. So we'll try and send some B-Labbers down there.
Yeah, we're gonna have Resuscitech on next week. So Abby's gonna be on it. Yep.
Excellent. I'm gonna actually make a note here.
Yeah, she'll be the startup story. So starting at 11:15 next week.
Oh, excellent.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for being on today and always. I don't know how many of you get our email, but in my note this week, we're iterating. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a founder. So even as an executive director, I'm constantly iterating and quantifying what's working and what isn't, and we've decided, I keep saying we're going to be, virtual through the end of summer, and we're still planning on that, but we're shrinking our virtual down and leaning more into our in-person because people are excited about that. We had a great crowd last week at the Future of Retail conversation, and everyone was super engaged. So we're just continuing to lean into that series. So Liz, we should talk about you leading one of those sessions. I'd love to, connect with you more and share more with, integrate the communities more, like we were before the pandemic.
Totally.
My last in-person event, I was one of the judges for the We at Brown conference, in which Resuscitech was one of the winners.
It's nice to see just the random collisions happening just, by having someone go down the hill or up the hill. And it's nice to see that Resuscitech made their way back down the hill.
Yeah, we've had quite a few of your startups on our programs over, the past almost 2 years, I guess. And it seems like the last year and a half has been like 3 years, doesn't it? It definitely does. And speaking of that, I see Shaheen. Shaheen, what's going on at Venture Cafe Cambridge today?
What's up, y'all? Today in Cambridge, after I lead a session similar to this, so if you want to connect with Cambridge folks, I encourage you to hop on at that time. We're running some programming that has to do with how to name your invention or your company. So if you want to create investor and prospect excitement and want to avoid confusion, Paul Klein will be leading a session on how to name things. And then I'm going to butter the Providence community up real quick. If I was to say maritime, emerging tech, and environmentally friendly people, I would think Providence. And we are running a session on AI and maritime. And how, I'm sorry, I'm going to look this up real quick. How using AI tools to evaluate impact on maritime sanctuaries. So those will both be starting at 2 and 3 o'clock respectively. And afterwards, we have our grand old networking that takes place usually. And I'm dropping links in the chats so you can learn more about it. Besides that, I want to point one thing out real quick. On June 17, we're hosting a Future of Work conference in partnership with CIC. They know a whole ton about what the next phase of this is going to look like. They have some experts and clientele that have been thinking about this for a while. So they want to talk about it. And on June 17th, we are hosting that. So I'm going to drop links in the chat so you can take a look. Thanks, Tuni.
Fantastic. And we definitely, Jordan, I know you're on here, and Amy, we should send over the information about that maritime session to Dustin and Tommy from RealWare. I loved their post yesterday. Talk about an exciting, maritime or blue tech startup with Dustin Varnells, and the way he's partnered with RealWare as RealWare expands on the East Coast. Super exciting. If any of you aren't connected to Dustin Varnell and are excited to follow, I would strongly recommend you connect with him on LinkedIn. It's pretty awesome and doing some exciting things. Hi, Kristen. See, I wish some of the other people on here had their videos on, but no pressure. Kristen is part of our VCGI, Venture Cafe Global Institute. She runs the expansion for our VCGI team. And what's going on?
I am getting really excited about all of these conversations about in-person gatherings and special snacks on different floors. These are things that I've missed very much in the past year. And in VCGI land, we're just looking for some exciting new partnership opportunities and, always looking for ways to grow the network and bring more value to the individual cafes. So if anybody there is looking to get connected globally, please feel free to reach out to me.
Kristen, I know like our conversation this week, we were talking about imports, exports, et cetera, opportunities around that. Sue Lee, if you're still on, this is Kristen and she represents Venture Cafe Global. Sue Lee represents technology for our commerce department's economic development team. And we work in lockstep with Sue Lee and her teammates all the time. But I don't know if you just saw me drop that I want to have an esports event at District Hall. I know it's only 8,000 square feet. It seems big, but when you're talking a stadium event like that, it's very, very small. But are any of our other sites, like where have you heard anything about esports at our other sites? And Sue Lee, that now would be a great time to ask Kristen anything in your realm of technology, because she's so connected to all of our other 8 sites.
Yeah, for esports, Cambridge, I know right before we went virtual, I remember there was a big esports night there that was really interesting. I think Miami had dabbled in it at one point, again, about last year. They were looking into sports and esports both, but I don't know of anybody that has a really strong focus. Might be worth reaching out to Venture Cafe Tokyo though.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Kristen.
Yeah.
Was that I bet that there is an existing ecosystem that you guys might want to tap into there, and maybe also in Europe, in some of the in Rotterdam, Warsaw. So yeah, I'd love to connect and see what we can do. Certainly, Amy and I and Tuni have been banging the esports drum, and of course with Venture Cafe Cambridge as well. There's lots of interest here in New England and activity going on. But because it's esports, we can do it globally. So, and with the locations that CIC and Venture Cafe have globally, we can make use of that and I think create some exciting engagement. So let's do it.
Absolutely. I'm going to put my email in the chat. So
fabulous.
Feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Liz, have you had any esports startups come out of the Nelson Center?
There was something going on. We got an application for B-Lab. So there seemed to be some students interested in it. They didn't make it through to the next round, but there has been like some, activity. I'm not sure where they are now though.
Interesting. I'm super excited about this panel discussion at noon. As always, we're building it. We figure we build it and they will come, right? Suli and Amy, we'll continue to build it.
Yeah, and what's
100%. And Liz, actually Brown has a great esports club, and we'd love to pull them in. So yeah, if you want to connect, I'll connect with you via LinkedIn, or I'll drop my email in chat too, and would love to bring them in and for the next esports event, right, Amy?
Yeah, definitely. And what I was kind of interested in thinking about was like kind of the connection between the local universities, because we do have some local university representation on now with Pete from URI. I know you're not at the esports thing, and then obviously our next speaker, Aaron, with JWU. So lots of universities who are starting to kind of think about this. And I think that's one of the things that Adam really was focusing in on, is this pipeline that's growing. But part of that pipeline is kind of the mentoring thing. And Liz, I know you skipped it. So what did you want to say about mentoring at the Nelson Center?
Totally. I got so excited about in-person events that I forgot to mention some more upcoming things. So part of this year, we launched our Mentoring in Focus series, and our next one, and I'm going to drop the event link in the chat, is So You Want to Save the World. And what, we work with students in early stage, idea concepts. So I'm not sure about other folks on the call. Maybe you're working with people a little later in the game, but mentoring is such an important thing for us. And we finally got our act together and started making events just for mentors. And so this one's going to be very interesting because it has a lot to do with navigating, the reductive seduction of other people's problems. There's a hyperlink in there. It's a really short article, fascinating. And there's a lot of interesting resources about just like who's solving what problem and why, and navigating that. And a lot of it's around like what white or Western savior complex. We work with a lot of students that want to save the world, but sometimes they don't have an understanding of truly an understanding of the problem. And then we recorded it. And we'll post it soon. But we had Jason Harry, who's the B-Lab director, lead a session on how to be an effective mentor for student mentors. And I know there's some students in CIC and attend Mentor Cafe or even young alumni. And mentoring sometimes is, I would say we could all use a bit more tools in our tool belt skill to help with being effective mentors. And Jason led a really great workshop. I can send you guys the recording once we have that. But we're going to have more events like this throughout the year. And I was really shocked at how many people were attending them and were interested in learning more about being a better mentor. So just wanted to plug that, and thank you for letting me plug that series. All are welcome. All of our events, they're free and open to all.
Fantastic. Yeah, anytime, come back. This session is meant for our community to communicate and share what's going on. And so looking forward to that. And as a founding mentor with our VMS program that's within RIHub now, I totally believe in mentorship. I am a mentor. I have mentors. So that's great. Looking forward to seeing that.
I watched the session with Banu, the recorded session, and it was fantastic. So I definitely think everybody should check out and follow the Nelson Center on YouTube so you can kind of catch up on these videos that they're putting out.
Yeah, I'll actually post the one, the mentoring resource page, the one with Banu. Thank you for mentioning that. If you guys have worked with her in the past, right?
It's amazing. Yes. And
the best.
And I love the Rhode Island Inno article that our own Amy Erickson was also featured in. Banu is just fantastic.
Amazing. And she led this session. I'll put the link to the video right here. But this was a very interesting, candid conversation about what it means to be inclusive. And it's such a buzzword these days. What does that actually mean? We talked about tactics rather than why it's important. Because I think a lot of us understand why it's important, but Banu gave amazing actual action items and steps.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we'll definitely share that out. I'll post that on my LinkedIn.
Awesome, thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Liz. So we have 2 minutes to go. Amy, do you want to talk about anything that's coming up?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm definitely going to drop one more time into the chat the link for tonight's Future of NFTs with our own Jordan, who is on the call but is probably busy helping people in this space. Please, if you're free tonight from 4 to 6 and you're comfortable joining us in person, come on down to District Hall. We're going to talk. We're going to really re-engage in in-person programming again over the next several weeks. And so you'll see a lot more coming out from us in that 4 to 6 timeframe.
And I would just recommend come early and just work in our lounge, or grab a private room if you need it, because it's much better than trying, in case you get caught in traffic or anything, just come relax, work in our space, and then ease into our networking. We open the bar at 4, and then we start that Future of session at 5. Sorry, Amy. I'm really promoting that people come early and hang out. And it's a great way for them to experience if they don't normally
Yeah, definitely. And if you are free next Thursday from 4 to 6, I just got off the phone with our presenter next week. It's Chesley Chen from CLA, and he's talking about his 40-year journey through startups and startup culture and finding the Zen within that. And it's going to be a fantastic conversation. He's really an engaging conversationalist and speaker. Next week's daytime program is it's June 10th, so it is the second Thursday of the month. It is our MedTech Innovation Forum, and so we'd love to have you join us for that as well. We will kick off with the NEMIC MedTech Talk at 10:30, and then, like we said, we have the Nelson Center's Abby Kohler doing Resuscitech for our startup story at 11:15. So please do make plans to join us next week if you are able.